All right, hey guys. Today I'm going to be talking about prop firms, what they are, which ones you can trust, which ones you should um, join, and just all around what you need to know about prop firms before you hop in and sign up for a bunch of random ones. So um, the main purpose of a prop fund is it's a way for a company, a prop firm, to give you um, capital. It's a way for you to get more capital than you would be just on your own, um, if you have low starting capital available. Small fee, you can buy a large amount of capital. So, for instance, some I'm going off the top of my head. Some of them is just you pay $60 and you can get a $10,000 account. You could pay $500 and get $100,000 account. So there's a big difference. I mean, your um, return on investment is significantly higher with prop firms than just using your starting capital. So say you have $500, you could go put that into a live account and trade with that. But if you're only trading, um, you're only risking 1 to 2% like you should be. You're only going to be making um, $25 or so at 1%. So if it's a 1 to 1, so you're going to be risking $25. Where if you buy, spend that $500 and buy $100,000 account, you're able to risk $1,000 instead of $25. So your return is a lot higher on your investment. So the way it works is you pay this fee. So you sign up for their service, you pay their fee, you create an account. Then it unlocks a challenge account, which is basically a demo account, or a paper trading account. They give you that same starting capital. So if it's $100,000, they give you $100,000 for $500, let's say. You pay the $500 fee, you get $100,000 worth of fake money for this challenge or demo or paper trading account, whatever you want to call it. And you have to pass the requirements in order to beat the challenge. That's why it's called a challenge account. Most of the time, those are 6%. Um, Normally, it's from 5 to 8%. Is a pretty standard range. I'll show you some actual prop firms later. But pretty much 5 to 8%. Five on the low end, which is pretty good, but 5 to 8%. So, and in order to do that, you need to um, you get this $100,000 you can trade with, and you need to win enough trades in order to get 5%. So if you're risking 1% on every trade, and it's a 1 to 1, or sometimes maybe it's a 1 to 2, it might minimum um, it's going to take 5 trades without any losses, 5 winning trades um, equals 5% if you're risking 1 to 1. But if you're risking 2%, maybe a 2%, then it would take 2.5 trades or whatever. But you're gonna lose some trades. So there's also a limit on the low end. You have a drawdown limit of, normally I think it's 3 to 5% um, drawdown limit. So if your balance gets below 3% of the $100,000, like 3% off that 100,000. So that would be 3,000. So that'd be 90. If it goes below 97,000, let me type that out here. It goes below 97,000 to 95,000. If your account draws down below that, you lose that account and you lose that $500. You don't lose any more than that. You just lose your $500 investment to pay for this challenge account. That's basically what you're doing is you're paying $500 for a challenge to win $100,000 worth of trading capital. So if you lose 3% or lose 4 or 5%, whatever the drawdown limit is, you just lose your $500. But if you win enough, and if you're use proper risk management and a decent strategy, and you win, it might take 20 trades. You might win 3 and then lose 3, or you know what I mean. You might win 4 and then lose 5 at the next 5. You might fluctuate around, um, but eventually you might be able to get up to this 5 to 8%, and that's the main goal. And then once you get that 5%, then you have the $100,000 to trade with. You don't get to cash out $100,000. You get to cash out whatever you win on top of that. So this $100,000 you get, you can use to trade, but you can't withdraw it. Um, so instead of using your $500, you can use this $100,000 and risk $1,000 instead of $25 you would normally be risking. But that's after you pass this challenge account. And sometimes different prop firms have different rules percentage wise here, and sometimes there's a 1-step or a 2-step. So like normally, sometimes there's a one challenge account, then you have to do another challenge account, and then you get the starting capital. But at the end, you get this capital, and then you can trade with it, but you still have this drawdown limit that you need to be careful of. But theoretically, anything you win on top of this $100,000. So if you take a trade and you win and you risk $1,000, you could win $1,000. So then you're up $1,000. You can withdraw that 1,000, but you can't withdraw the 100,000 or anything below that. So withdraw anything above 100,000, which is like I said, it's the best ROI you're ever gonna get if you're able to pass the challenge accounts. But that's basically what prop firms are. Let me talk a little bit about which prop firms are good and which prop firms are not the best. So nowadays, it's pretty easy to start a prop firm. You just Google how to start a prop firm, and there's a bunch of different ways to do it. I mean, there's companies out here that you pay a fee and they'll build a prop firm for you. So you got to be careful of those. I mean, if you want to go build your own prop firm, go ahead. This is not the video for you, but it's super easy to start one. Relatively easy, I guess. I mean, it still takes some work, but that means there's a lot of prop firms out there, and a lot of them you can't trust. So when you're doing your research and trying to find a prop firm that's the best or one that you can trust, you really want to see one that's been around for a while and has been trusted and has had multiple payouts and is not in the news saying that they'll pay out their they're traders. So you want to do your research before you sign up for a prop firm. But let's take a Google search here and just search prop firms. You can see funding traders, ninja traders, apex trader funding, level it up trading. It just goes on and on and on. There's all these places up here. I mean, there's hundreds of them. So you need to be super careful of which prop firm you choose and making sure you choose a trustworthy one. So one of the biggest or most notable prop firms, probably, if you like look around at the different influencers to see what they're using, um, is probably my funded futures or my funded FX. There was also another one. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I can't remember it. But Ninja Trader, that's just a broker. But Apex Trader funding, I have seen a couple. Yeah, I've seen some people or some influencers use this. Um, but if we go in here, prop firm payout junction, I mean, has all the stats for all the prop firms and all their recent payouts and things like that. So it's a good way to tell um, which prop firms are kind of trustworthy or not. And we can see here, I mean, right off the top, these big ones are the most trustworthy, I guess, just because they've been around for a while and they're making money because they're still around. Um, and the ones you don't see on here aren't around anymore because they lost money and they stopped paying people out. So I guess the biggest, if we go in here, the first one, funding pips, we see you want to look at the number of payouts. 31,000 or almost 32,000 is quite a lot of payouts. Let's see, I funded futures. 20,000 is a lot of payouts. You really want to make sure they're, they have a decent amount of payouts. Like this one down here. Right now, they only have 55 payouts, and this might be a good company, um, but I wouldn't put my money into it right now, just because, I mean, $500 is still a lot of money. You don't want to just go dumping it into some random thing that's not been around for a while or trustworthy. Um, Alpha Capital Group, 11,000. That's a good amount of payouts. And you also want to check the largest single payout. So that's pretty good, and they're all pretty consistent, which is good to see. But then we move down. Just skip a couple. I've been getting a lot of ads for Aqua funding, um, and I don't really know what to think of it yet. Um, it seems like the only ad I've seen is just some. I've seen two ads. It's just some person talking about what a prop firm is and like buy my thing, blah blah blah. And then another one is just like an interview of how much some guy got paid out. So I don't know about them just yet. But let's see. My funded FX, I would trust them, even though they're below that. That's surprising. All-time payouts, 22 million is pretty good. Uh, Actually, my funded FX is above them. Aqua funding is way down here. But you can see there's decent amount. I've seen a lot of Arctic funding around. They actually only have only have 154 payouts. I would have thought they had more than that. I've seen a lot of ads from them, so maybe just be wary of them. But I've seen a lot of ads about them, and the owner seems pretty genuine about his thing. So I wouldn't. I've almost got a prop firm from them. Maybe I will in the future. Currently, right now, I have this 101 funding or uh, account with 101 funding. This is actually TGR's company, and that's the reason I chose 101, just because of TGR, and his whole brand is really built around day trading. And it's kind of a weird thing to start a prop firm if you're in day trading, but it's whatever. But he seems like a genuine guy, and I don't think he's gonna scam us all because he's got a large following, and that would ruin his reputation, and ruin a lot of his businesses that he has. A lot of his businesses are online businesses, and that would ruin a lot of his businesses if he wasn't genuine and didn't pay people out. There has been some recent news that he hasn't paid people out, but he came out and said that yes, he was missing a couple payouts, um, but it was only a few, and there was some delay or something. But you got to be. That's why you got to be wary of all these people. I mean, you never know what somebody can do, and there's just so many of them. Like Elite Trader Funding, I've seen one or two ads from them, but you never really know. Um, if I was to choose the best, I would say my funded futures or funding pips I've seen a lot about. And I trust 101 funding for now. I haven't never got a payout yet. But one thing you can look at is the amount of creators or influencers, whatever you want to call them. Look at them and look at their following and see who they're using for their prop firms, because most likely those are pretty reliable, and pretty, what's the word, secure, and going to pay you out because they have a lot of people following them, and they're not going to use it if they're not going to get paid out, and they're profitable. But another thing is, you don't want to go spending buying 50 or 5 funded accounts from funding pips. You want to spread it out, maybe buy 2 here, 1 here, 2 here, or whatever. You got to spread it out. 1, 2, 3, 1, doesn't matter, but you got to spread out where your prop firms are from, and use a copy trading software in order to trade them all, or however you want to do that. But you have to, it's basically risk management. You have to diversify your risk and diversify your portfolio, and just spread out your risk, because who knows? I mean, this might go in tomorrow. This company might fail the next day. You never know. So you need to be risk heavy, and be cautious when you're spending money and expecting people to stick around, because people tend to, they're not, things aren't forever. If I've ever learned anything, and you need to just use risk management like you do in trading. I mean, you don't risk half your account on one trade if you did, because then it would be gone if you lost. I mean, you're not going to win every trade, and you're not going to lose every trade, but you need to have risk management, and you need to do it properly. And same thing with um, prop firms. And then eventually, once you get once you start being profitable and start having prop firms, start saving some of that money and putting it into a live account. Because who knows, one day prop firms might be illegal for some odd reason. Who knows? But you want to have a backup. You don't want to just go, oh, I have $1 million in funding from 10 different prop firms. I'm fine. I don't need to, I'm making $10,000 a day. I don't need to put money anywhere. I'll just win it, and then when I need it. No, you got to use risk management again, and put half of that or whatever, um, in a live account. In a live account, it's, it's not going anywhere. you're the only one that can lose it, and you're the only one that can grow it. Um, but with prop firms, you can lose it, and then the prop firm can also lose it because who knows? One day they just might fall out of the sky and burn up. Who knows? um, but yeah, that's all I wanted to say is just talk about what prop firms are, how to get into them, what's the best ones, and how to diversify your risk, I guess. So let me just go over real quick some. So let me go to one of one funding just to show you what it kind of looks like. So if we go into their get started, you can see they have multiple different account size: 6,000, 15,000, 25, 50, 100, and 200. And you can see 200 is only 1,000 and 100 is only 550. And so it's a pretty good return on investment if you're able to be profitable and able to beat the challenge. But you can see here uh, the daily drawdown is 4%. That's on all of these. So if you're of your $100,000 account, you can only lose $4,000 a day, which you should not even be getting close to doing because you should be risking 1%. So the max you can lose in a day is $1,000. Pretty simple. And your total loss limit is 10%. So that's 10 grand you're able to lose. So that should, if you lose 10 trades in a row, you're doing something wrong, and you're not using risk management if you get hit this 10%. I mean, it's just not really that possible. You need to be using risk management, and you need to be using a decent strategy and know how to place a trade. And then profit target. Yeah, this is a two phase. So the first time you got to hit 8%, which is a good bit, but it's still less than this 10%. I mean, if you risk 1% every day and you win 8 trades, all you need to do is win 8 trades if you never lose any. And if you lose two, you still only need to win 10. I mean, it's if you do the math and look at it statistically and with percentages, it's really super possible to do. And then the second phase is only 5%, so 5 trades, and no time limit. And profit splits are 100%. That's another thing. Some prop firms are 80%, some are 100. Again, just diversify when you have multiple prop firms, multiple accounts with them. Just do some that are 80, some that are 100. And then some of these you even get a refund with your first payout. So you get the $65 back or your $550 back after you pass the account. So you just got to be, I mean, the main thing, I guess, to sum it all up is use risk management just like you do trading, and use it when picking prop firms and um, just picking prop firms, and don't go putting all your eggs in one basket, as they say. And then once you start getting payouts, start saving that and putting it into a live account for just so you have it. I mean, it helps with saving. I mean, saving money is always good if you need it, and it's just a good thing to do. Um, but yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about is just prop firms. That's one thing I wish when I got started. I did the same thing that most of you probably did. I just searched prop firms, and I had no idea what the heck any of this meant. I didn't even know what a prop firm was until I figured it out on my own. I mean, I wish somebody was there to tell me how to do it and tell me which one to do and tell me step by step by step on how to do everything. But I haven't. I never found that video or never found that information. So I wish that was there for me. So I wanted to make this video, maybe help some of you guys out. But yeah, just the main thing is you pay a small fee, you get a large amount of capital in return. It's the best ROI of any investment you'll ever make in your entire life, other than investing in yourself. But even then, it's pretty close. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to make a video about prop firms. Hopefully, this was helpful. Well, thanks for watching.